What we're doing is we're talking about current events or some segments or just some reactions to things that have been going on. And of course, being a martial artist.
And honestly, this is kind of like one of those things where it was outrageous.
Yeah, well,
It was pretty outrageous. Where
I think it was outrageous, but I think I'm going to have a different set on the thing. So first of all, I'm going to say this. Mm-hmm. I know the difference between martial arts and combative sports. Mm-hmm. Mixed martial arts, as the UFC presents it, is not martial arts. They call it mixed martial arts, but it's the art is not in it, meaning the respect, the being humble, the homage to one's lineage. All of that's not in it.
It's more egocentric than community.
Well, I'm not even going to say it's egocentric. I'm going to say that it's a combative sport that when you go into it, you have to be very self-centered because a person in front of you is going to try to beat you until you submit or you're unconscious. Mm-hmm. And if the ref doesn't stop them, they may kill you. So it's a situation where we need to stop expecting these people to be such humble warriors and, you know, and being super respectful. With that being said, when your ass writes a check, you know, your mouth write a check, your ass is going to have to cash it. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. So.
And who are we talking about?
I'm talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And
he's built his career on, obviously, like champ, he's got many wins, victories, and all that, but also is...
Well, yeah, but let's be honest.
Trash talking.
Let's be honest. I just want to look at the history. The build-up to the fight, even Dana White said it was dark. It was the darkest build-up that he's ever seen because it was so personal. Conor McGregor talks a lot of shit, and he was talking shit about Nurmagomedov, and Khabib just didn't care. Because, look, Khabib's just like, I get you in octagon and I smash you. That's just what he says, right? You know, and he's like not, like all of the stuff Conor was saying, oh, you got a glass jaw, you got this and that. He's like, okay, I smash you. And he didn't care. So what Conor McGregor had to do to try to get in his head was try to start talking about things and doing things that was more and more offensive.
Which would be?
So first thing he did was he talked about Khabib's father. And
is he still alive?
Yeah, his father's alive. Okay. Actually, this is how close Khabib Nurmagomedov is with his father. Him and his wife and his two kids still live at home with his mom and his dad. Because in his religion and his part of Islam that he's part of, the youngest son stays home forever to make sure the parents are taken care of. His dad is the most important person in his life. His dad was his first wrestling coach, his sambo coach. Now, let me tell you what kind of person these people from Dagestan are. There is a video when Khabib was like 9 years old, and in the late 90s, this motherfucker was wrestling a baby bear.
What?
A bear. A bear.
You know I'm going to YouTube this later. I didn't even know that.
No.
I don't know anything about Khabib.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, and it's super available, and we'll put a link in the comments, too.
Okay.
And so I just want you to understand that this is the type of person he is. So not only does he love his dad more than probably anything in this world, and his dad's a respectful, respected man in Dagestan. You know, he's a super coach, and he's coached his son up to be undefeated in UFC and in the mixed martial arts.
And undefeated. He took out Conor.
Yeah. Well, he's taken out. Well, he's undefeated. He's taken out a lot of motherfuckers. He's taken out 27 people now. So, but, you know, he lives at home with him still. His dad's his everything. So that's number one. Number two, Conor did things like he knows Khabib doesn't drink. He knows he's a Muslim, and he goes, drink some whiskey, offer him some whiskey. And he's like, I never drink. And it's like, okay, now you're insulting the man's religion. Mm-hmm. And I know, he just offered him a drink. No. I've been around enough Muslims in my life. I'm not a person who hates anybody's other religion. Everyone who knows me, I think that any time that your religion will make you do something, I think it's gone too far. Mm-hmm. You know, but people have a right to practice their religion the way they see fit. I'm just telling you that, you know, you're insulting a man's religion. And
his belief.
Yeah, his belief. And then he's insulted Russia and you know, has insulted Dagestan, insulted Russia. So it's like, all right, now you're insulting this guy's country. That's a recipe for insane ass whooping. And you know what? They fought. It was a great fight. Nurmagomedov dominated Conor McGregor in every aspect. He dominated him in stand-up. He dominated him on the ground. I thought Conor McGregor was actually going to win. I thought that what I seen from Nurmagomedov before, I seen that he left his chin up, and I thought Conor McGregor had a striking presence and a pressure that was awesome.
Were they the same height, same length, and everything?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same height. Khabib is a little bigger. I think he's an inch taller. And I'll talk about that, my beliefs with that before, after this, because I do have a belief that attributes come in handy and that McGregor is no good against somebody with superior attributes. And so just looking at it and just watching the fight, at the end of the fight, Khabib beat McGregor down, took his back in the fourth round, I think, put in a face crank.
That was a face crank, right under the chin,
right under the chin, a face crank. And McGregor tapped. So now I want to approach all of the people who've never grappled before and all of you idiot trolls out there saying, the choke wasn't even sunk in and he tapped. No, and I mean, and this came from, like, I remember I seen somebody who I really like, who I respect, Paulie Malignaggi, saying it wasn't even a choke. You've never been face cranked. If I face cranked you, Malignaggi, I would break your jaw and break your teeth. I'm strong enough to do it, and I'm not even a professional fighter. So shut the fuck up. I hate it when dogs meow and cats bark. Meaning that if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you shouldn't be talking about it. Hey, I'm not gonna talk about boxing with a boxer and with a professional fighter, somebody who's fought professionally and recently, and talk about it. I mean, I think I have a valued opinion about that because I've been in boxing for so long, but I'm not gonna just make a comment like that. Any comment that a face crank isn't dangerous and that you tap from it is a lie. It hurts, and the crank just turns into a choke after you break the jaw. A crank means that I didn't get it in, but I'm strong enough and I have a good enough position that I'm going to just crank your jaw. I'm going to crank it back. I mean, he would have to crank his jaw back until his neck,
depending on the torque. I mean, it goes right into a neck crank.
Yeah.
It's a neck breaker.
Yeah, but he would have went straight through his jaw, and then he would have had to choke. And so Conor tapping, there's not a problem with tapping for that. It's dangerous. So anybody who says, just fight the hands or tap, they've never been in it. Because, a two-stripe white belt will take anybody who hasn't grappled on the ground and put that crank on them and make them scream uncle. So with that being said, I digress. But I just hate people who talk shit and who shouldn't be. After the fight, and which is the big controversy, Khabib jumped the fence and went after Dylan Dennis, who is Conor's grappling coach and one of the coaches in the corner. Dennis was apparently talking shit, and Khabib just had it and jumped on him. Jumped again, jumped on him. And then there was a melee. Conor jumped on a fence. Another person was on a fence celebrating. Conor punched that person. Then two people from Khabib's camp jumped in.
Is that what happened? Because the way Joe Rogan...
Yeah, because...
he reacted, I guess, from his vantage point, it looked like Conor McGregor got jumped.
Yeah, well, he did, but he did. But there's video showing Conor McGregor hit somebody on a fence, and then when he jumped in, and somebody totally wasn't even involved because the person who he hit, when the person jumped down to fight McGregor, he was controlled. Somebody else jumped behind him and lit Conor up. Now, and look, so I'm gonna say this: I think that none of that after the round shouldn't have happened, but we who live in the West have to stop pretending that everybody lives by the rules that we live by. So I'm gonna tell you, I lived in a condominium before with some Russian cats, and I became friends with them, and they, and these are not, a couple of cats were Muslim. They told me they're under no circumstances are they gonna allow anybody to talk about their family, to talk about their country, or talk about their religion. Under no circumstances. These are just the people I came across, and they were very stoic and very ice cold about what they would do to somebody who would, and so, we everyone's saying, well, that's the fight game and this and that. No, shut the fuck up. You're living by these rules. They're living by another set of rules. This is something that I tell people all the time. Just because you don't believe that it should be this way, the person who can hurt you may believe it could be that way. And when you talk that shit, you got your ass whooped. And at the end of the press conference, Khabib, he kept his cool through the contest, because he wanted to beat McGregor. It was very important to him. But after the contest was gone, there was still some residual anger, and he said,
another rage.
Residual. He said, he says, look at all. Why are you talking about me? Because I jumped a fence and I jumped on a guy that I didn't even get to. Khabib didn't even get to the guy. So when they suspend Khabib, which I think they will be, it's going to show the hypocrite nature of the Nevada Athletic Commission, or athletic commissions in general, and the UFC. It's going to show the hypocrite nature of them. Because when he tried to jump Dylan Dennis, when he jumped off the apron, and he could not get him. And actually, Dylan Dennis, I got to give it to him. He fucking kind of lit Khabib up a little. When Khabib was getting pulled away, Dennis is a big boy, about 200, 205 pounds, and he was throwing blows and fighting, you know. And then I think Khabib's Russian manager and somebody else jumped on Dylan Dennis, and there was a brawl over there. But when all of these things happened, the only thing I sat back and I said, well, I'm just glad nobody's getting shot or hurt, because I know, you know, from my experiences in Thailand with some Russian cats, which look, all of the people I was involved with were very nice, respectable people. You could have a great conversation with them. They were, you know, they were straight up and down, easy to do business with when you did business with them. But they were not playing none of that bullshit. and they would tell you. I mean, because look, I like to bullshit with people. I like to cuss people out and this, that, and play games. And I remember talking to one of my friends, and I said, hey, you know, I'm starting to like you and hang out, and, you know, I may talk some shit. And he says, well, look, don't talk about this, and this, and I won't have to kill you. And I said, well, shit, I guess I'm not going to talk about this, and this. And I shut the fuck up about that. But it's not like, I don't know if he was joking, but he didn't smile, and he was serious about it. People have principles, and because your principles are different and your beliefs are different, because in America, we believe that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, that's not bull. They don't sing that. Lie. They don't sing that song in other places. Yeah. They don't sing that shit. It's like they're not singing that shit in Russia. They're not singing that shit in the Middle East. They're not singing that shit in Africa. That's a Western civilization thing. That's a social contract that says that no matter what you say to me, if you're not trying to touch me, I can't hurt you. Well, okay, we believe that here, but you have to understand that everyone doesn't believe that, and
it's almost like it's cultural centric. I forgot what the exact terminology, but you were looking at through one particular lens. And UFC is obviously an American product. We're looking through an American lens.
Yeah, we're looking through an American lens, but you know, it's an international product. But I'm gonna
an Irish lens, in Conor's case.
I'm going to say something else, too, though. Conor McGregor has been a fucking cunt and an asshole. He's been a cunt and an asshole with his promotion.
I like to stay neutral on these things, but he does trash talk a lot.
No, I'm not even talking about trash talk. Yeah. I'm talking about his actions.
Stockton slapped.
So let's just talk about his actions. Let's talk about his actions, right? I mean, I don't care all of the talk. Hey, you talk about someone's dead, they gonna fuck you up. But let's just talk about his actions, what he did before, right? So the first thing he did, he jumped the cage and ran up and acted like he was gonna jump on Jose Aldo when he was trying to get the 145-pound title when he fought, and he did knock Aldo out. But he jumped the cage and went out, and nobody said shit because security restrained him. All right, so no one said shit. They just said, oh, Conor's just promoting the sport. He's so good for the sport. He's the Muhammad Ali of the sport. No, Muhammad Ali was original. Conor McGregor is a copy of Muhammad Ali.
Well, I've listened to a couple of Muhammad Ali's trash talking, and it wasn't like, what I've heard from Conor.
It was always talking about the person, but it was never talking about their family. Never talking about this and that.
And it was almost kind of comical.
It was always comical. Hey, look, Conor McGregor shit was comical too. But, you know, he just started going far. That was the first thing. That wasn't really going far. That was like, oh, that's great fight promotion. Second thing, he's fighting Nick Diaz. No, I'm sorry. He's fighting Nathan Diaz. You know, I got the Diaz brothers.
Please, hey, we're trying to get him on the show here. He's a vegan and everything.
Please don't drive down here and slap my ass. He slapped me. Yeah, homie, 209, pop. It's like shit.
Representing.
And you know what? I'm gonna take that slap too. Fuck that. That motherfucker can go.
But some clips I've seen with them going at it, it was going pretty far.
Yeah, it was going. He was insulting Nate. Say, you don't know money and this and that, and you teach your kids jiu-jitsu class, and you claim to be a gangster, this and that, and this, and it's like, and Nate beat his ass right on the second fight.
So what do you thought about the second fight? Because I'm looking through all the comments and stuff. I haven't seen the second fight.
There's two Nate Diaz fights. Mm-hmm. So there's Nate Diaz 1, then 4 months later he fought Nate Diaz again.
And so how was
the first
that
Nate Diaz
fight?
Nate Diaz choked his ass out. The second Nate Diaz fight, Conor ran when he got tired and he won by decision. But the build up to that fight, Nate Diaz threw a water bottle at him. Conor threw a water bottle into the crowd where Nate Diaz was hitting spectators. Then he got fined a little by the Athletic State Commission. Nate Diaz got fined, but no one said shit like it was out of control. Mm-hmm. And so that's two things. Let's talk about the third thing. Bellator event, which Conor was not sanctioned to fight, not even sanctioned as a corner man. His guy, I don't know if his guy won or lost, but I remember Conor jumped the cage in Bellator, a different organization he's not a part of, pushed the ref, pushed his opponent, got to his guy, and then when a Bellator official came up to him, Conor slapped dude.
No way.
Slapped him. Look that shit up.
I'm going to definitely do some research and try to link all this stuff. Look that shit like, up. I've never even heard of this.
Put that link in that motherfucker. It's on Bellator. Conor slapped him. And so then it's like, holy shit.
No, that is definitely like disrespect on another level.
All right. And then there was the bus incident where Khabib surrounded Artem Lobov, right, with his people. And Khabib didn't even slap the shit out of him, but Artem talked some shit about Khabib. And Khabib said, why you say that? Just say it to my face. And he like popped him on the cheek like, don't make me fuck you up. And that's some very that's like Russian for I'm gonna let you live today when they slap you on your cheek a little, don't next time I have to hurt you. And that was a pretty good Russian accent, by the way. and smacked him up a little. And then Conor gets on a fucking private jet with 20 people, flies from Ireland to fucking New York, goes downstairs when all of the fighters are in the bus. Artem lets him in. The MacLife people let him in. Because MacLife is his own social media, filming all this stuff. They let him in. Artem's with him. And they rush. They throw a dolly through a window. They get the dolly through a window of a bus.
See, this is all new to me.
Yeah,
so
they threw a dolly. This is what Conor did. He threw a dolly through a window of a bus. He was charged with a misdemeanor in New York. They let him off in a misdemeanor. Threw a dolly through the window of the bus, right?
Or like a hand truck.
A hand truck. Through the window of the bus that Khabib was on. Saying, come out here, you fucking coward. And Khabib is like, why you attack the bus? You just send me a message. I come see you. But
that's hilarious.
But he does that, right? Fucking Rose Namajunas, who's a strawweight champ and women's mixed martial arts, right? For UFC. She's fucking traumatized with post-traumatic stress syndrome. She had a hard life. She's literally not leaving her house from this. Ray Borg got glass in his eyes. His fight gets canceled. They're fighting the next day. This is the day before a fight. Fucking Michael Chiesa gets his forehead cut. He would have been the stand-in. He would have been a stand-in to fight.
Okay, let me ask you.
Just let me finish for 1 second. Just hold that, right? All of these people got hurt from some shit Conor did. And the UFC used that footage to promote this fight. So what was your question?
So I was watching a YouTube video of how Dana turned the UFC to a $7 billion business or whatever. So
Mount Rushmore of mixed martial arts, Dana White.
So from what I saw, the optics portion of the media side, which, whatever you see at first glance isn't really tells the whole story, but after, how do you say, Khabib or Habib? Habib jumped the fence.
The K is silent. Habib.
No, okay, Habib.
Yeah.
Like the R is like hoist.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, he was reprimanding Habib, like full on.
Yeah.
Does Conor get this kind of?
Well, no, yeah, but Conor got a reprimand too. But this is the only thing I'm saying about this. So this is all the stuff that Conor did. Conor's never been suspended. He's never been told that you can't fight in the UFC because he makes money. And then he talked. And then this is before. And then he talked about Habib's family. So, like, Conor's done a lot of shit. And I'm gonna say this: it's my fault for being a Conor McGregor fan. Mm-hmm. It's my fault for being a UFC fan. It just happened. The minute that Conor McGregor started doing that shit, I should have turned off the UFC and never brought another pay-per-view. Because I buy pay-per-views like a motherfucker. I've probably purchased like 8 pay-per-views in the last 2 years from the UFC.
Even though you know that YouTube's gonna be.
yeah. And no, because
I always watch the fight.
No, because I'm supporting the product. I'm like, look, these are these. I want to support the fighters. I want the fighters. The fighters don't get money when I watch that pirated YouTube stream that's up there. You know, I want to like. I find it horrible that Demetrius Johnson isn't a big draw because he's one of the best fighters I've ever seen in my life. So I buy Demetrius Johnson's pay-per-views to support Mighty Mouse. Mm-hmm. I brought this pay-per-view when I seen it. I was like, holy shit. The minute that all of that was happening, I should have took a principled stand and said, fuck you, Dana White. Fuck you, UFC. And if you let these people keep going like this, I shouldn't be a part of it. Because how can I act appalled by what happened when I seen the build-up and I know that it was going to happen? I know eventually it was going to happen, but I act appalled. How can Dana White act appalled? You just built a house worth of shit, a house on shit, and now you're upset when your house smells like shit.
There's a shit show.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it smells like shit in here because the walls are made out of shit, sir. What do you mean the walls are made out of shit? Well, we started painting the walls with shit about 4 years ago when we let this motherfucker do everything. Oh, well, it made money. Well, you know, that's what you get. And so my whole take on the thing is that it's our fault. Khabib shouldn't get a day fucking suspension. But it could be, but Conor and Khabib should never be allowed to fight each other again because that's the biggest money fight they're ever going to get is each other. That should be their punishment. You guys can't fight each other. You guys can't make fucking. You can't have another $2 million payday without pay-per-view. You can't have another. But everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. Well, you know what? Take a stand. That would be my thing. I don't think what Khabib did was actually. When I looked at it, I'm like, he probably didn't do nothing really too bad. He didn't get to fuck nobody up. But he set off. No, what set it off was that dolly through the fucking window would set it off. That's what set it off. And then talking all the shit about his father, that's what set it off.
It was leading up to it. It was a build-up.
Yeah, and like I said, and I'm going to say this again, I'm going to look at you motherfucker to say this. Just because you think that it should be one way, the motherfucker sitting across from you may blow your fucking head off. There's people who get shot all the time who don't know that they were crossing the line. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's reality.
Sometimes people value $1 more than you value $1.
Reality is reality, man. Like, I'm going to tell you something. Look, I grew up with this cat who only thing he cared about was his dog. He'd be walking his dog. You couldn't say shit about that motherfucker's dog. And one day his dog died because dogs don't live forever. And I was like, oh, man, I'm really sorry about that. And he's like, man, don't even talk about my dog, dude. I was like, all right, Charles. We ain't even going to talk about your dog because Charles was a fucking beast. And somebody said, man, you still worried about that punk-ass dog that died? And Charles, dog's been dead for a year. Charles beat that motherfucker half to death. Over a dog. I don't understand that. But you know who understands it?
Charles.
That's right. That's who understood it. But I understood Charles enough that when he said, man, don't ever talk to me about my dog blood. I was like, okay.
Grover, you know, the fact that you're saying it, hopefully he doesn't see this because he's going to be searching for you.
Shit, Charles probably in prison now. It's been about 25 years. Charles used to fuck people up. But that's all I'm saying. I'm saying that just because you don't believe in it. And so I think that maybe, just maybe, we can promote a fight, talk a little shit about beating the person and how you're going to beat them, but keep people's family out of it, keep people's parents out of it, keep their religion out of it. You know, and if you just don't give a fuck, when you get your ass handed to you, that's what you deserve. You know, because those face cranks hurt. And plus, I'm going to say this too. Conor's been exposed. Because if somebody can get past that storm, he ain't going to do shit to him. He's never going to out-grapple somebody. His grappling was actually really good because he didn't just get mauled and tore up on the floor. When I say mauled, his face wasn't all pizza. But, I mean, he's going to have to spend a lot of time. Because I was watching it, and I was like, I didn't see any like high-level jiu-jitsu. I seen mistakes that I would make. But then again, once you're getting punched in the face, you start fucking up.
activates a little different parts of your brain right there.
Yeah.
Survival.
Activate that part of your brain. Like, stop, please stop hitting me. Stop hitting me. Look.
But it probably goes down to it, like muscle memory. I mean, the only thing that really prevents lapses in technique would be just repetition
10,000 reps.
The habits.
10,000 reps.
Connecting and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I have on that. I just think it was interesting. I think it's something that definitely people's going to talk about. So I wanted to talk about it.
For someone like me who doesn't really watch the UFC, my mom watches UFC and stuff. It's hilarious. I don't know.
You're lame as fuck, dude. Your mom be watching shit. I mean, your mom is up on shit. You know? That's all I'm saying.
But this caught my attention, and I was like, Grover, I think we should speak about this.
Yeah, I think
you know.
Yeah, I think
because I was really into the whole MGK Eminem thing, and I that thing caught my attention. So and 6ix9ine for some reason, I don't know why, but
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
So that motherfucker like rainbow hair. That's what he like. He like, I'm looking for somebody with some rainbow hair to change my life.
But definitely something was touched on many points with the Conor and Khabib. I almost said Khabib.
Yeah.
But it's Khabib.
Yeah. We don't want to disrespect any parts of that motherfucker because he might jump off of something on us. So Khabib, respect. Yes. But you know what though? Khabib was the good guy in this, and he's going to go down as the bad guy because of what happened. But Khabib was actually the good guy. I respect him as a fighter. He's the best fighter in the world. He's just the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. And I think it's absolute and total bullshit if anybody doesn't say he is at this point.
Oh, leave your comments.
Yeah. Leave your comments. Talk shit all you want. We'll talk more. All right. And so only thing I got to say is, have you tried happiness?
Grab your slice now.
That now was ultra aggressive, dude. That's what happened. Dude, man. You got to start eating meat or something. Your asses.
I'm losing my mind a little bit.
We ain't never, ever heard an Asian cat that aggressive before. Racism. All right, boom. All right.